We have 125 present for this meeting today. And believe me when I say that we sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for your support of this extraordinarily important mission of R.E.D. and of honoring our deployed men and women in uniform. So thank you for joining us this morning. You know, sometimes I tend to think that Americans may lose sight of the strategic importance of military deployments, much less the dangers that many of our troops may be subjected to when serving overseas, especially when operating in an area of armed conflict or a zone where joint training exercises are being conducted with NATO allies. Risk will be omnipresent. It's the nature of the business. I'm confident that many of you are now aware of the announcement earlier this week, Tuesday, by the Department of Defense regarding the 4 United States Army soldiers who went missing while training in Lithuania, leaving behind a submerged M88 Hercules armored recovery vehicle that was found in a body of water within the training area. The soldiers are all from the 1st Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, a unit that is stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia. The DoD statement said that the search is ongoing and that the fate of the missing soldiers is still unknown. That accident took place Tuesday, and as of 2 hours ago, report this morning, they have still not located those 4 missing soldiers. So please join me in a silent prayer for these Raider Brigade soldiers and their families in hopes of their swift recovery. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've got a host of first-time guests that have joined us this morning, and I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce them. And if for any reason I mispronounce a name, please understand that I am from East Texas, and that is pretty commonplace. So, how about Jeffrey and Devon Jones? Would you please stand for a moment? These guys are here visiting with John Jones. And I do want to highlight that Jeffrey is currently an Army National Guard member and is to complete Officers Candidate School come August of this year. Is that correct?
That's correct,
Sergeant. You're going to be wearing some butter bars.
It's going to be a fun experience, Sergeant Major.
Let me just give you one piece of advice. Hang on to the coattail of your senior NCOs. They'll keep you out of trouble.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you guys with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you. Also, we have some members of the, we have a member of the Torrum family and a couple of guests that are here from Washington State. David Torrum, where are you? David's right back here in the back. And David is Adam Torrum's son. Your brother was with us only here a short while ago. What was it, February or so?
February, yes.
Glad to have you with us. Now, I understand you're preparing to move to Chicago.
That's right.
Good luck on that transition.
Thank you.
And also, we have with Adam, his friends from Washington State, Jim Charlton and Brian Lenz, is that correct?
That's
Glad to
correct.
have you guys with us. Very much so. Appreciate your driving all the way out here from Washington State just to attend the Red Friday meeting.
It was a long drive. Felt like we were flying, though.
Welcome back anytime. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Also, we have as a guest of Rosemary Lloyd, Roxanne Carlton. Roxanne? Roxanne, I just want you to know I have the utmost admiration for this lady to your right. If some of you folks do not know Rosemary Lloyd, Rosemary is a WAC that served immediately following the Korean War era, and she is also a member of the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame. So you could not have any better company, I can tell you that. Now, you're out of Texas.
Correct.
Where?
Middle of nowhere. It's Van Horn, Texas.
I'm very familiar with Van Horn. In fact, we stay there every time we make the transition back to Austin.
As long as you don't blink, you see it.
Do you know the name of the hotel that's right downtown there, in Van Horn?
What's weird is how many hotels are that. Tiny little town.
But I'm not talking about on the freeway. I'm talking it's right downtown, the multi-level old.
Oh, El Cap.
El
El
Capitan.
Capitan. Yeah.
We stay there every time. Love it.
Yep. That one's got a lot of history. That's a pretty cool hotel.
What in the hell possessed you to go to Van Horn, Texas?
Our job. We have a
Wait a
really
minute.
good job where outside, it's about 30 miles from there. We work for Blue Orchid.
Okay.
So that is the only incentive is the job because not much else for that little town.
Well, at least you're in Texas. That's a good thing. We're glad to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us, Roxanne. Also, we have with us Deb Johnson. Where are you? Right back here in the back. Deb is a significant other of Denny Johnson. Is that correct? And Denny's sitting right there behind you. Did he finally just convince you to come, or was this
I don't
something
like
you...
getting out of bed, so I offered this time.
I figured maybe you just wanted to know where he was really going on Friday mornings.
I just have to look at my phone and I know where he's at.
I'm just... Wait a minute. Hey. I need to find out if my wife's doing the same for me.
She probably is.
What I want to know is this, Deborah. Is he bringing you a to-go breakfast home when he leaves here on Friday mornings?
Nope.
We got to change that. The best thing is for you to be here and eat breakfast with us. Thank you for joining us. And also a guest of Roger Schwope is Jim Summers. Jim, where are you? Jim, you do realize that you couldn't ask for better company than Roger.
Okay.
Are you? I'm trying to say something good about the guy.
Well, he's a good guy.
So you're out of Montana.
Yes.
Absolutely stunningly beautiful state. You're going to be with us throughout the summer months, or
No, until the end of April.
Till the end of April, and then you'll be back.
Hopefully.
We hopefully think that you're going to be right back here come October, November,
Okay.
and join us again for Red Friday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And how about Michael Badley? I love that name, Michael Badley, B-A-D-D-L-E-Y. I've never heard that name before.
Didn't put an R in it either.
Well, I did when I first read it, but that was just because I'm from East Texas. You're out of West Virginia.
Yes.
I believe you are the first guest that we've had here out of West Virginia. Will you be heading back to West Virginia?
Probably. Yeah, we will, after we hit California and a few other places.
Okay, but you'll be that's home.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to have you with us today. You are a United States Air Force veteran, correct?
That's correct.
You served 1972 to 75?
Yes.
What kind of jobs do you have?
Ground radio communication repairman,
Superb.
control tower.
Thank you for joining us.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for your service. And we also have Stephen Luckhart. Stephen, where are you? Right here. And Stephen, you are also a United States Air Force veteran, having served 1968 to 72, and you are you're out of Minnesota,
I am.
and you guys are going to be heading back real soon. I
We are,
understand.
very shortly.
And would the plan be that you'll be returning here to the Valley?
Undoubtedly, yes.
We certainly hope that both of you will join us again when you return.
It's been fun here. The
Monica?
accommodations are wonderful.
Monica, make sure that happens, please. Thank you. Keep a close leash on him. And then we have Dale and Noreen Frey. Where are we? Right back over here. Dale, I know that you're a United States Navy, 1970 to 78. You're a retiree.
Yes. Yes.
Is that active duty?
Pardon me?
Was that active duty, Navy?
Active duty and reserves.
Thank you for your service, and you're a Wisconsinite.
Yes.
And I hope that you're not going to be leaving real soon until you've had a couple of three of these meetings under your belt.
We're going to be leaving in May and coming back in November.
Well, good. We expect to see you here each Friday before you leave. Will you do
I
that?
think that's very possible.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Can I have a hoo-ah for all of these guests here? Hoo-ah! Thank you, thank you. You know, I have a cousin over in Deep East Texas. He served for 8 years in the United States Navy. And the other day, I had a phone conversation with him just to get caught up. And similar to most every time we've had a chat, he relays a story about his military experience at sea. And he told me the story about one of his shipmates who fell overboard just off the coast of a string of small islands in the Pacific. And the ship's commander sent several search parties out to look for him, but they never found him. So they assumed he had drowned, and they set sail. Well, come to find out, the sailor actually survived. He swam to one of the small islands, and after a few days of wandering aimlessly, he came across a tribe of natives who had just lost their beloved chieftain. And the tribal high priest greeted the sailor, told him that he's the first outsider they've seen in 20 years. The priest said that the man's arrival coincided with the death of the tribe's chieftain, and that the sailor must have been dispatched by the gods to assume the role of the chief. But before he could be elevated to such a position, the priest told the sailor that he had to make sure that he could pass 3 tests. And if he passed all 3 tests, the tribe would accept him as their new chieftain. Sailor said, "Fair enough. I've always wanted to be a chief. Just let me know what the 3 tests are, and I'll get right underway with them." So the priest took him to a clearing where there were 3 small huts. And the priest turned to the sailor and started to explain the test. The priest said, "In the first hut, you'll find 3 gallons of native beer. And you must drink all 3 gallons to complete the first test. Then in the second hut is an angry gorilla. with a sore tooth. And you must pull that tooth and survive in order to pass test number 2. And in the third hut is the deceased chieftain's daughter. And you must make passionate love to her until she no longer resists. Now, although the sailor thought these tests were somewhat strange, he gladly agreed, and he began the first test. A few hours later, he walks out of the first hut rather inebriated and unsteady after consuming all that beer. And he starts stumbling along towards the second hut. The priest stopped him and he asked if he'd like to have a rest. But the sailor said he wants to have all the tests done before he sleeps, and he enters the second hut. Within an hour, he came out of the second hut covered from head to toe with blood and scratches. And he turned to the priest and he said, "Now lead me to the girl with the sore tooth." I want to take this opportunity to send a shout out to the Sunrise Village East Veterans Association for their invitation for our group to participate in last Monday's Veteran Stand Down. We joined a host of other veteran services and support organizations. We had an exhibit booth there in what I think was a prime location in their auditorium. And the Sunline Veterans Group really exerted a massive effort in the planning and the execution of the stand down. In addition to the exhibitor booths, food vendors were set up outside. More than ample dining tables were available for attendees, some covered, some not. And the dining tables faced the outside stage, and a band provided the ongoing entertainment. And just prior to the noon hour, a pinning ceremony was held on stage for Vietnam War era veterans. Jim Kenyon and I manned a booth, and I'm quite pleased with the activity that we had and the number of folks that stopped by to learn more about Red Friday. Our booth was positioned directly across the aisle from a quite rowdy bunch that you might recognize. So hopefully we'll have some of those folks that visited our booth join us to share in our camaraderie and support our deployed warriors. So again, congratulations to Debbie File, President of the Sunline Village Veterans Association, and to the many association members that assisted in the preparation and staffing of that stand down. It was an absolutely great job, and thanks for extending the invitation to us. Only a few weeks ago, I was approached by Sarah Klug, who is not only a distinguished Red Friday member, but she is also a co-chair for the Service for Veterans Committee of the Apache Trail Chapter Daughters of the American Revolution. Sarah, will you please raise your hand over there? Sarah said that one of her responsibilities is to encourage the women in their DAR chapter to crochet or knit handmade lap Afghan blankets for disabled veterans within our community. Sarah said she had several Afghans that had been donated, and that she would like to work with our Red Friday group to deliver the Afghan lap blankets to Red Friday veterans who were dependent upon a wheelchair for mobility or veterans who are homebound. Well, we responded. And I want to share with you a summary of a few of those Red Friday vets who were the recipients of those absolutely beautifully crafted Afghan lap blankets. We received suggestions from some of our R.E.D. members who identified veterans that would ultimately be the recipients of the blankets. And those R.E.D. members accompanied Sarah to the recipient's home for the presentation. Brad Burgriff accompanied Sarah for the presentation for Ken Anderson, a U.S. Army veteran who served 1953 through 1954. And Brad also accompanied Sarah and Kelly McDonald for the presentation for Keith Sampson, a United States Air Force veteran who served 1966 through 1969. Richard Bartlow accompanied Sarah and Karen Confederak for the presentation for Howard Bell, a United States Army combat veteran who served during World War II. Richard also accompanied Sarah for the presentation for Dennis Kunkel, a United States Army veteran who served 1961 through 1964. Inez Heineman accompanied Sarah for the presentation for Sonny Brooks, a United States Marine Corps and Korean War veteran who served during the period 1951 through 1965. Denny Johnson accompanied Sarah for the presentation for Dale Fogelson, a United States Army and United States Air Force veteran and retiree who served during the period 1968 through 1997. And Les Jones accompanied Sarah and Karen Confederak for the presentation for Jim Estes, a 4-year U.S. Coast Guardsman and 16-year United States Army retiree who served during the period 1975 through 2001. I can assure you that the veterans who received those beautifully crafted lap blankets are grateful for the recognition of their service. I can also assure you that Sarah was quite moved by the presentations and was honored to spearhead the initiative. So to Kelly, Karen, Les, Brad, Inez, Richard, Denny, and to all the volunteers who crafted the lap blankets, and especially to Sarah, thank you for participating in this very meaningful endeavor for our veterans. I think we owe you a resounding hooah. I think Sarah had a couple of words that she would like to share with us.
I hope I can do this without crying. It's such an honor, actually, to be here every Friday. I just love it here with all the veterans. I hear your stories, but some of the best stories that I heard were those who got the lap blankets in the last 2 weeks. And without the help of this group and the support that I've had from this group, this would never have happened. We had 5 ladies in our organization that did the lap blankets, and we're going to have more hopefully for next year. And I just want to say thank you to everyone, and it has been such an honor to be here with you, and to also it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with the veterans that we gave the lap blankets to. Thank you so much.
You know, we do have a few of the recipients of those Afghan lap blankets that are here today. Guys, will you raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for your service. May I see the hands of those of you who are military brats? Raise them high if you're a military brat. Well, there's no doubt that those of you that were raised in a military family can relate to the challenges that many children of service members endure. You know, the term military brat is often used to describe children of military families, and many of these kids wear this label with pride, recognizing the unique experiences and the resilience that it fosters. There are currently more than 1.6 million military children who face many, many challenges and unique experiences as a result of their parents' service. And while military members serve around the world, we often forget the challenges faced by their children. As you might expect, military families move, on average, every 2 to 3 years, impacting the children through changing of schools and their support networks. Well, this coming month, April, is designated as Month of the Military Child. It's a time to recognize and support the unique challenges, the resilience, and the contributions of military children. And each year, the Department of Defense joins national, state, and local governments, schools, organizations that serve our military, and private and public companies, much less private citizens, in celebrating military children and the sacrifices that they make. April was designated as Month of the Military Child in 1986 by then Secretary of Defense. And it was chosen to coincide with the time when military families and all of their extended network of friends experienced the challenge of deployments, relocation, and other significant stressors on military children. I find it interesting that the dandelion was chosen as the symbol of the Month of the Military Child. The dandelion represents the ability of military children to thrive and flourish in different environments, as does that quite hardy plant. Additionally, the theme for the month is Purple Up, with Purple Up Day celebrated mid-month on Tuesday, April 15, encouraging people to wear purple, which is a color representing all branches of the United States military. So, as we approach the coming month of April, I encourage you to keep America's military children in your thoughts, because they too are serving in support of our warriors. You know, there are many of you in attendance this morning who are Vietnam War era veterans. Some of you served in country or in theater, while others may have deployed elsewhere during that long conflict. Some of you may have never been deployed, served your entire sentence stateside. Regardless, you served at the behest of Uncle Sam. All were called or volunteered to serve, and none could self-determine where they would serve. we cannot overlook the fact that as youngsters, many of our Vietnam War era veterans sacrificed the very best years of their lives in service to this country. Tomorrow, March 29, is National Vietnam War Veterans Day. The commemoration is observed every year on March 29. And as we honor their sacrifice, we must also remember the profound challenges they faced, both during and after their service. There are actually 5 objectives with the Vietnam War commemoration. First and foremost, the commemoration day was established as a way to thank and honor our nation's Vietnam War era veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. The other objectives include to highlight the service of our armed forces and support organizations during the Vietnam War. Also to pay tribute to wartime contributions at home by American citizens. To highlight technology, science, and medical advances made during the war. And also to recognize the contributions by America's allies during that long war. To highlight a little history, the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017 was signed into law by the 45th United States President Donald Trump, designating every March 29 as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And the date, March 29, is fitting. It's a day honoring, it was a day chosen in perpetuity because March 29, 1973 was the day the United States Military Assistance Command, Vietnam, was disestablished. Also the day the last U.S. combat troops departed Vietnam. In addition, on and around that same day, Hanoi released the last of its acknowledged prisoners of war. So the United States of America Vietnam War commemoration honors all veterans who served on active duty in the United States Armed Forces at any time from November 1, 1955 through May 15, 1975, regardless of location you served. And the Department of Veterans Affairs estimates that today there are about 7 million United States Vietnam veterans living in America and abroad, along with 10 million families of those who served during this time frame. More than 500 Vietnam veterans die every day, with many currently residing in hospices and long-term care facilities. So this national commemoration was authorized by Congress, established under the Secretary of Defense, and launched by the President to thank and honor our national Vietnam veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. During the past year, our Red Friday group, in concert with the Apache Trail Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, have conducted several pinning ceremonies for Red Friday members who are Vietnam War veterans. We do plan to have additional pinning ceremony for Vietnam War era veterans who have not received this pin. And that ceremony will be scheduled prior to the conclusion of the Vietnam War commemoration, which ends on Veterans Day, November 11, 2025. I would ask that all Vietnam War era veterans who served during that period of November 1955 through 1975, please stand. To each of you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. Thank you. May I have a hoo-ah for these veterans? I only have really one announcement to make today, and that is we have guest speakers that are scheduled for the first 3 weeks of April, and I certainly hope that you plan to join us and support our guest speakers since they are here to support our program. One final notice, and that would be please leave your name badges at the greeting table whenever you depart. To our first-time guests, thank you for joining us today, and we sincerely hope that you will join us again soon. Please know that you will always be welcome at our Red Friday assemblies. And as a final reminder, let us not overlook the importance of our mission to keep our deployed warriors in our thoughts and in our prayers, and to continue to demonstrate our support for these fine men and women. Enjoy your weekend.